This is Daniel Simon at Baton Rouge Community College, and this week I'll have a last preview of the semester for the History 11-13 course. I'll kind of go into weeks 12 through 16 up to like the final exam week. I'll discuss like the different assignments that are upcoming, especially those that are due at the end of the semester. So I'll kind of go into that, of course, today with this short video. So if you go to weeks 12 and 13 in modules, you can see here that right now with weeks 12 and 13, I do have some continuation of the lectures on the Romans, parts 3, 4, and 5, where I kind of go into the Roman Empire. I'll kind of cover the history of the Roman Empire from its founding, going back to like the time of Romulus and Remus, and goes all the way up to the end of the Roman Empire, to its collapse around 476. So it's 3-part lecture series I do have on that. This will be, the main topics that will be on the final exam for the semester. So there's the PowerPoints that go with it. But that's the part 1 lecture. The part 1 lecture kind of goes up from like the beginning of the Roman Empire under Octavian, who becomes known as later as Augustus, Emperor Augustus. That does kind of go up to like the time period of close to like when the rise of Christianity is. The second one goes up through the Pax Romana, like around the time of the Flavian dynasty. And it does go down to about the time of the Severan dynasty, like Septimius Severus, one of the emperors of that time period. And then the last part, of course, like the part 3 lecture goes from the time of Emperor Diocletian up to like the time of the end of the Roman Empire, and when the Western Roman Empire, of course, collapses around the year 476. There's also some combined lectures too. You want to look at that as well, that are below. So I was kind of showing you there, but like I said, these lectures are going to be assessed on the final exam that's upcoming. So I do have like sections for the discussion if you're interested in any kind of comments, questions about those lectures, of course, below right there. And then don't forget, you will have to turn in the study guide for the final exam on the Roman Empire. I do have like study guides right here, so worth 100 points. I do have different versions of the study guide posted. There's a Word document version. I do also have some PowerPoint PDF versions of it as well. And even if you are exempt from the final exam, which I'll talk about a little later about, you still have to turn in the study guide, of course, at the end of the semester. So if you go down to week 13, so I'll probably post those lectures around week 12. I'll post the final exam in week 13 right here. I do have a review, of course, for the final exam on the Romans right there, which includes a PowerPoint with it as well. And then I do have the actual announcement on the final exam itself, which will be due in December. Final date for completion of the final exam will be on Friday, December 13th at midnight. So you do have a while to complete that assessment right there. And like I said, there is an exemption for the final. So any student that has a high percentage in the class can be exempt from the final exam. However, you see there, you do have to turn in your remaining assignments that are left. So you do have to do Canvas quiz number 5, which is that one on the period of Alexander the Great and early Roman history up to the time of Julius Caesar. You got to turn in the vocabulary assignments, at least the first 3. Of course, the research paper on the book you chose for the semester, the book report. And don't forget, you do have to turn in the study guide, especially the final exam study guide. That has to be turned in as well. So most of those have a final due date of already listed. I know most of them, like the vocab study guides, are due by final exam week. Then if you keep going down in modules, you do have a section here For the Cold War, for the Middle Ages that I have coming up, like that's going to be for weeks 14 and 15. Monday, November 11th, I'll have that posted, which I do kind of go through some of the historical periods after the fall of the Roman Empire. Like I talk about the rise of Islam, the Byzantine Empire. I do kind of go into like the Middle Ages up to the period of the Renaissance. So that will be assessed in a final exam bonus quiz I usually give out at the end of the semester, which that'll be due again by final exam week, Friday, December 13th. So I do kind of give two finals, one on the Roman Empire, one on the Middle Ages. So that's the PowerPoints, of course, for it that you're looking at. And it is a 3-part lecture series that I do have, of course, on the Middle Ages. So that's the discussion section. If you have any questions about, of course, the Middle Ages, don't forget about, discussions. I know at the end of the semester that students don't do as much with the discussion sections because you're kind of busy wrapping up the end of the semester, but if you want to take advantage of any bonus points for that, you can throughout the semester. So that's the actual Canvas announcement about completing the final exam, bonus quiz, of course, on the Middle Ages right there. I don't really have a review on that, by the way, but I do have 3 lectures, of course, you can review back and forth about that. There's also a study guide I made, kind of, I think it comes from the PowerPoints that I've got, but I do have a final exam bonus quiz review questions. You don't have to turn those in, but those are included in the main study guide that I have listed in modules and also in Canvas assignments as well. So those are in there too if you want to use those to kind of review and answer those for later. Now, for remaining assignments at the end of the semester, I did want to talk about, because that's pretty much wraps up the lectures that I have for the semester that will be assessed. We do have the book report and review research paper. Don't forget, you do still have to, complete that assignment. It is a mandatory assignment. And the dates for that, when it's going to be due, of course, you see is by Friday, November 15th. So I have kind of staggered the actual dates you can turn it in, but Friday to November 8th to Friday, November 15th, those are the dates, of course, to turn it in. Like I said, make sure that, you've decided which book title you want to read for the semester. You should have already notified me on what book you wanted to read from the book list that I've got below right here. Make sure it does follow the guidelines that I've listed in the assignment in Canvas. It does have to have a cover page, of course. Also, it should have a work citation, I think, just of the book. So you shouldn't be really using any other sources to, write this paper for that assignment overall. There is a writing rubric I do have listed, of course, right here that I've posted here, and also in, Canvas assignments as well. So I think if you turn it in early, I think I'm giving bonus points for that, but like up to like around, November, probably won't give out any extra points for that. But that's, of course, like I said, a mandatory assignment. But I did have a deal where, if you remember correctly with the research paper, you can do the bonus projects in return. So I think there's a case with the veterans project, or I think there's also that historical documentary project you could do. You can actually do that as an option if you don't want to do the book report. Now, going down here, you can see we do have the vocab assignments. Don't forget those, of course, are also due at the end of the semester as well. The first 3 have to be turned in. First, second, and third key terms. And if you remember correctly, you can turn those in early for bonus points. So I think you can get like up to like 10% extra credit if you turn it in early. If you don't cite the sources or anything like that, you don't get any extra credit for that. But I know for the first 3, you can get 10% credit for that. bonus. And then I know for the final key terms, if you want to turn that in, it's optional. You can get 10 bonus points for that as well. But make sure, like I said, you're not going to get the extra credit if you don't cite whatever source you used. I think I just mostly need a listing of whatever sources you used, whether it's encyclopedias or your textbook or whatever source you used for that particular assignment. It should be typed, by the way, and I think I've had a few students turn it in handwritten, but you might not get the bonus points for that. And then don't forget, they have the other study guide questions. Like if you want to turn in the study guides, like just all the listed topics that were for the course, like the first exam one, the second exam one, and the final exam ones. These were just the topics. I know for the first one, it was just prehistory, I think up to India. The second one was like China, Greece, Alexander the Great, and I think it went up to like early Roman history. And the final one is, I know, Roman Empire up through the Middle Ages. So it's got like all the topics that were on exams and quizzes that were there. And I think if you turned them in early, you get like, I think 40 bonus points instead of 30, I think is what I did. So for that one. So, and then on the bottom here, the other two things we had, don't forget, we do have those 200 bonus point projects that you can do for the semester. The Veterans Oral History Project, if you're interested in that project, don't forget about that. It's due at the end of final exam week. You can see there. And make sure it does, meet the format guidelines. So it does have to be a minimum of 10 minutes or longer. It can be an audio interview or a video interview. I think video interviews are more preferred, but make sure you do follow the guidelines that's listed with it that I have in modules and also in the assignment itself. And then don't forget, they had that student historical documentary project you can turn in also as well. These are all voluntary projects, of course, for extra credit. So that's another project. That one does have to follow another guidelines of 3 to 5 minutes. So it should be like a short video talking about a historical topic of some type. I guess it could be any historical topic, although I think most of them will probably be like within this historical period. But those are also due during the time of, the same period as the other veterans project. So final exam week, of course, is when it'll be due. So these are all the different assignments that I have out right now that are pretty much in modules and in Canvas announcements and assignments. If you do have a question about the course, you let me know, of course, in the semester. I know the semester is coming pretty quick. We'll pretty much, be close to, wrapping up the semester at the end of the year. But like I said, if you have a question about the course, do let me know. Don't forget about discussions also as well. If you have a comment question about a lecture or something else, do let me know about that. So this is kind of giving you an idea of like the end of the semester, what's going to be due. And also, those that might be exempt from the final exam. So everybody take care, and I'll see you, of course, later for the rest of the semester. So see y'all later. Bye.